Should the Broncos trade for Budda Baker? That is the topic of today's show. Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. And on today's show, we're going to talk about the idea that's been floated out there about Denver potentially being a trade destination for Budda Baker. And then one NFL insider who had a pretty ambitious idea about sending a certain wide receiver over to Arizona for Budda Baker. But the original story starts with this from Adam Schefter, who tweeted out at the end of last week, team source Budda Baker informed the Cardinals in February that he wanted to be traded or receive a new deal to make him the highest paid safety. So let's first start the show off by just talking about the idea in general of trading for Budda Baker, and then we'll kind of bring in Courtland Sutton or Jeudy being in that trade in the second half. So the first question I have when it comes to, hey, Matthew, does it make sense for Denver to trade for Budda Baker? Does Denver want to make Budda Baker the highest paid safety? Because it sounds like if a team trades for him, that is the expectation. Now, when you look at the highest paid safeties, this is just the average salary per year. Budda Baker is number 7 right now, right behind Justin Simmons, and he's probably looking for like $19.5 million. Is he going to get that? I don't think so. Is he deserving? Maybe. He's definitely one of the best safeties out there. I don't know if he is the number 1 safety in terms of talent to pay level, but we know that's not how it always works. Now, I doubt that Denver wants to have 2 safeties in the top 10 highest paid on their payroll, right? To have Budda Baker at number 1 and then Justin Simmons would slide down to number 7. That's a lot of money into a position group that, let's face it, Justin Simmons has been awesome for the Broncos. Does it get them wins? Not necessarily. I want Justin Simmons. I like Justin Simmons. But that's a lot of investment into a position group that usually gets one guy that gets a good amount of money, and that's about it for the entire room. So for that reason, I think it's very unlikely that Denver would pursue Budda Baker, given that they've already got Justin Simmons on their payroll. But at the same time, there was a lot of buzz and some murmurs or even some rumors, some chatter, if you will, about Denver being interested in C.J. Gardner-Johnson and some other safeties during free agency. So maybe Vance Joseph wants to reunite with his old guy Budda Baker, who he had a ton of success with down in the desert, and maybe Sean Payton believes this new defense is calling for 2 great safeties, which is a bit unusual, but we'll find out. Now, we're going to get to more in just a moment, but first, help us grow this channel by sharing today's video on Twitter. So hit the little share button, then click Twitter, tag me at Matthew Petey, and whoever tags me in a video on Twitter, I'm going to give a shout out to on a future show. So hit me up over there, and let's get more eyeballs on this channel. Now, Budda Baker as a player, we all know, I mean, outside of the DK Metcalf rundown, is one of the best players in the NFL at the safety position. 2 interceptions last season, 7 pass breakups. He has been reliable, he has been accountable, and he has been one of the best to suit up at the safety spot since entering the league about 7 seasons ago, a second-round pick out of Washington. Now, Baker still has 2 years left on his contract. Here are the base salaries for the next 2 seasons. If a team trades for him this year and Arizona does not eat any of the money, well, the new team would have to pay him $13 million. That's the base salary. 2024 base salary is $14.2. These numbers we know are mythological. They're not real. They're fake. The salary cap's not real. We saw the Broncos eat all of Von Miller's base salary to get better trade compensation from the Rams. So don't look at that and think, well, it's all over. Denver's not going to be able to pay $13 million. Just put a pin in that, but that's sort of the starting point if they are interested in making a trade for him. So be the GM for me. Would you trade for Budda Baker? Chime in down in the comment section below. We're going to get more takes on this, including my own, but let your voice be heard. Give me a T for trade or P for pass. Now let's bring in Jeudy and Courtland Sutton into the conversation, because Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated had this to say in his latest write-up. So if I'm, say, the Broncos with Vance Joseph there, and I have a young receiver to spare for a team that might need one post DeAndre Hopkins, would I think about it? I sure would. Wonder what young receiver he's talking about. It's, of course, Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, I believe, who have been the central theme of a lot of trade rumors all offseason long. Now, I don't think it's going to be Jeudy. If one of them were to be moved for Budda Baker, right? If George and Sean Payton have their heart set on Budda and they're like, we can make a great defense with him and Justin Simmons. They're not wrong by having a good defense, but they had a great defense last year, and that only got them so many wins. So at some point, you got to invest in the offense too. So let's start by addressing the idea of trading Courtland Sutton for Budda Baker. If I'm trading Courtland Sutton, if I'm George and Sean Payton, I'm only doing it for a draft pick. I don't think this team gets better in the long term by adding an expensive safety entering year 7. I mean, last season we saw this team shut down a lot of offenses, and they were still losing a ton of games. Why do I have reason to believe that adding Budda Baker is going to get more wins on this team? No, you're just going to have an older player who's got a lot of money on your books, and you're still got the same result at the end of the day on Sunday. Now, as for Jeudy, I'm with Denver that I am dug in on getting a first rounder and nothing else for Jeudy. I'm not going to sink below a first rounder. Is he worthy of a first round pick? He's right there. Late first, early second is probably his best value. But when it comes to Sutton and Jeudy, I think if you're looking to trade either player, you should be looking to get a younger guy who's on a cheap rookie contract for the next 4 or 5 seasons, not take on a 7-year vet who's going to want to be the highest paid safety in the NFL. I don't think that's going to get you more wins, and that is what I am in the business of doing. So here's what I think a trade could look like if this were to go through. Budda Baker for Courtland Sutton. I think the Cardinals get a draft pick. I actually tossed and turned about this for a little while, trying to figure out who would get what kind of pick. I think a day 3 pick goes over because if you polled 100 NFL fans, hey, who's a better player, Budda Baker or Courtland Sutton? I would say majority, 70, 80 are going to say Budda Baker. So I think you got to throw the Cardinals an extra day 3 future pick to make the deal go through. So would you do this trade? Give me a yes or no, right? If you are George or Sean Payton, still yet to be seen who exactly wears the pants in this front office relationship. I think it's more Sean, though. Would you do this trade? Give me a Y for yes or N for no. I am passing on the account of Caden Stearns. I love Caden Stearns. I've got a man crush on Caden Stearns. It is open. It is out there for everyone to know. So why not roll with Justin Simmons and Caden Stearns cheap on his rookie contract as your 2 starting safeties? When you look at the Broncos safety room right now, there has still been some buzz about bringing back Kareem Jackson. We know that he wants to continue playing. Could Denver see an option for him to return if they have health concerns for Caden Stearns? Potentially. Now, we're going to unpack Caden Stearns and some more on Courtland Sutton in just a moment. But the NFL draft, ladies and gentlemen, is less than 2 weeks away. It's more like 10, 11 days away from now. Now, Denver does not get things started until day 2. But do not miss any mock drafts or draft rumors leading up to the NFL draft when you are subscribed to our brand new NFL Draft YouTube channel here at Chat Sports. Go to youtube.com/chatnfl. Caden Stearns last season, when he took over after Justin Simmons got put on IR heading into week 2, he was phenomenal, right? 4 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. Unfortunately, a hip injury sidelined him for the rest of the year. It was a forgotten season for most. But in his career, the Texas Longhorn, 20 games and 4 interceptions and 9 pass breakups, that is crazy productive. For sure, a small sample size, but I'm bought in. I am all in on Caden Stearns as 1, a good safety, and 2, a good safety who is not going to command to be the highest paid safety in the NFL. The Broncos, in my opinion, are not a playoff winning contender. Could they sneak in? Could they make the playoffs in 2023? Sure, this is the NFL, right? The parity league where teams go from worst to first and first to worst all the time. So I would not be blown away if Sean Payton turns around a 5-win team that had 9 one-score losses last year and gets them from 5 wins to 9 wins and sneaks them in as a wild card. But are we sitting here thinking that in the wild card round, Denver's going to go to either Buffalo, Kansas City, or Cincinnati probably and knock off one of those juggernauts? I'm sorry to burst your bubble. I don't think that's going to happen in 2023. So I'm going to pass on acquiring expensive or veteran players in general via trade, giving up assets when I like what they have growing in their own backyard. A guy named Caden Stearns. Let's see what he can do. Now, if they've got legitimate concerns about his hip injury and they don't think he's going to be ready to go for quite some time, different conversation. But find a different placeholder. Not one that's going to cost you $20 million a season. All right, some interesting rumors that circulated over the weekend I wanted to bring everyone in on the loop for. So a report came out from The Athletic that a certain someone was almost a Baltimore Raven. Courtland Sutton reportedly was almost traded or basically had a deal in place. Ultimately, the Ravens pivoted and went with Odell Beckham Jr. Now, here's what Athletic beat reporter Jeff Zrebiec said about this. At one point, there appeared to be a deal to be made for Courtland Sutton, but the Denver Broncos decided they didn't want to trade him. So I do say this as a good reminder as we get closer to the NFL draft that do not rule out a draft day trade. I don't know what the deal was, and if Denver thought, you know what, we like Courtland Sutton, we're definitely listening to calls, but if the Ravens said, hey, we're going to offer you, I don't know, a fourth rounder, they're like, we like Courtland Sutton more than a fourth round pick, I could see them backing out. But this is a good reminder of, say, I don't know what the team is, say the Buffalo Bills, okay? The Buffalo Bills have their heart set on 5 receivers, right? 2 guys in the first round, 3 guys in the second round, something like that. And their first round targets are gone, okay? We'll get a wide receiver in day 2. And their top 3 receivers, Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs, and Tank Dell, are all taken before them. Well, maybe Courtland Sutton is their plan G or F or something, and they decide, yep, let's give the Denver Broncos a call, and let's offer up a pick we were going to use in day 2 on a wide receiver. Our top guys are gone. We're not interested in hoping that some of these guys that we kind of like but don't love could turn into something. Let's go get a proven commodity like Courtland Sutton. That could also be true for Jerry Jeudy. So just because Sean Payton said we're not trading one of these guys, don't put that in stone. If an offer comes in that Denver's finally been waiting for because a team didn't get the receiver they were looking for in the draft, their backup option could be, let's give Denver a call. We saw it last year with Marquise Brown and A.J. Brown get traded during the first round of the NFL draft. So what say you? Will Sutton or Jeudy, just either of them, do you think either one gets traded? I'm going to put, I've gone up and down on roller coasters in terms of it. Looking like it's going to happen, definitely going to happen, not going to happen. I don't know, Jim. So we keep going up and down here. I'm going to put it like a 42% chance. That's my official big number right there, 42% chance of a trade. Before we get on out of here, an interesting story. I cannot confirm it. I don't know if I've seen anyone with a blue check mark really come in and confirm it, but Russell Wilson reportedly crashed his golf cart when he was driving at Arrowhead Golf Club. Yikes. That's not good. I should say that he is unharmed. He is not injured. At least that's what I saw on Twitter, which you know has the most reliable information. But I can put this down as that would have been one of the top 5 dumbest ways to get injured, crashing a golf cart. That is like Major League Baseball pitchers in the offseason shit right there. You know what I'm saying? So kind of reminded me of the scene from Hall Pass or The Office when Andy Menard just takes off and goes into the sandpit. I don't know if Russell Wilson was just doing a whole bunch of Mr. Unlimited calls and didn't see what was in front of him, but happy to see that he's doing well, and hopefully he makes a full recovery from what could have been a relatively decent health scare. Could have a cardiac moment for all of us watching, but good to go, number 3. That's going to do it for us on today's show. Make sure to follow us and subscribe if you have not already. We keep you guys informed and entertained on your favorite team all year long.